Good morning and welcome to January 2022. It's great to have everybody here with us today. Thanks for joining us. And today we've got a lot going on and specifically talking about technology and how to use it to maximize your agency's efficiencies, your customers' experiences, and so forth. But we have a lot going on at IIT right now, so I just wanted to catch people up. But today we have Steve Anderson with us. He's actually got a different background than sometimes you get to see him. So where are you today, Steve? Oh, your sound isn't working all. There you go. There it came. It showed up.
Sorry.
Matt, is it struggling on sound?
Is it
Yeah,
just?
I'm not hearing them either.
Whoa! What happened?
There
There
we
we
go.
go.
All right, there we go.
Whoa! I love
We've done really good
technology.
for 30 minutes by ourselves, and once
30
we got
minutes and
on
all that. Well, I
camera, it
put
went
myself on mute to cough, right? Maybe I won't touch that again.
no
So
problem.
anyway, I am calling in here today from Granbury, Texas, on Granbury Lake. We have friends that have a lake house, so we came from Nashville for a little R&R, although I've been working all week, so I'm not quite sure how that works. So,
Yeah,
but
good.
glad
Good.
to be
Well,
here.
happy to have you in Texas, and we're excited that you're going to actually be joining us at the Joe Vincent conference in a couple weeks. So I wanted to visit with folks about that. If you haven't registered, so we are going to have Joe Vincent. So we're moving forward. We're going to have that in-person event. It's been 2 years since we've had a Joe Vincent in person, so we're very excited about the lineup. The room block does close end of day tomorrow, so if you want the rates, make sure you jump in and get your hotel reservations taken care of, even if you're still waiting to make some decisions. But we've done a really different lineup this year. There's a lot of interaction. We actually have an innovation InsurTech lab, which is going to feature a couple dozen firms that are out there that are technology. So that ties in with our conversation today specifically. There's also ways where you can kind of do what's called quick connects, where you can actually do what I call speed dating with different various experts on different topics to pick their brains and find out what it is that they have. But specifically, Steve will be there throughout that week, presenting in various ways and available to ask questions about what he's seeing and maybe learn a little bit more about Catalit. So that's in about 2.5 weeks. We hope you'll come to Austin and join us. And with that, I'll jump over here to Steve. So many of you know Steve, which is why you're on the call today. So we're happy to see such a great attendance. And Steve has been spending his time the last couple years really working on Catalit and what is that and how do we actually become the easy resource for our members and for independent agents when it comes to answering those tough questions about technology and what's the right fit for your organization. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen. And Steve, I'd love for you to sort of maybe give us a quick background on who you are if people don't know you and where you've come from. And then we'll jump right into telling us what is Catalit and what does that mean from a standpoint of technology here.
So yeah, thanks. I have been in, let me get that, hang on a second. Making sure there we go. So I have been in the insurance industry literally my entire career. Started in an agency in Washington, D.C. in the late 70s. Got an interest in technology, brought our first in-house agency management system into that organization in about 1982. Ended up leaving there, actually moving to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and working at an agency there that was very technology focused and forward. Producer, sold, operations, did all kinds of different things. And then in 1999, decided I really liked the technology stuff, and so went out on my own and have done that for the last 25 years now. Really doing research, writing, speaking, consulting around the technology that independent agents need to thrive in the marketplace to engage with their customers. So quick background, but
nice. Great.
a
Well,
lot
we've
with
worked
Texas
together.
over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work together over the years, whether it's here or other places. And effectively, what's happened is a variety of states across the country have come together to work with Steve and actually bring what is Catalit to you all as our members. and agents across the country. So in a quick snapshot, what is Catalit? And then I'll have you talk a little bit about why we created it and the
Sure.
direction that it's going. Thanks.
Catalyt is an advisory firm and a platform that helps agents discover, evaluate, select, and implement the technology they need. The way I like to phrase it is to continue to thrive. As we all know, certainly over the last couple of years, consumer expectations continue to change rapidly. New technology continues to be developed and come forth, and we are a resource for agents to help them figure out what to pay attention to and what not to pay attention to, and how to get the maximum value out of it. We'll maybe talk a little bit about how we go about doing that. But Marit, you're right that part of what really intrigued me when I first was approached about being involved with Catalyt is that several states had strategic initiatives around helping their members with technology. We had, three what we call founding states that I worked with initially to put this idea together: New York, Louisiana, and Wisconsin. And then we came to a larger group of state associations to present this idea, and four more came on board as investors, Texas being one of those, North Carolina, Colorado, New Jersey, and I always pause because I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but we have 7 investor states, and now we have been adding what we call patron or marketing states that are making Catalyt available to their members. In fact, just yesterday we signed an agreement with Rhode Island, and we've got several other states that are interested. In fact, I pulled this up just to give you an idea. This is a quick slide. Let's see if it pops up there for you. Just a graphic interpretation. I don't see it displaying yet. Maybe I didn't do something right. Well, I won't worry about it, but we have a number of what we call patron states now involved with us also. So a good group of independent agencies through the Big I state associations.
Yeah, great. And Steve, I think this really was a culmination of just hearing how frustrated agents are in making decisions about their technology, how complex it is. There's always so much out there for options, and people will come and say, well, what should I be doing? And in reality, if there's a lot of it depends answers, right? Which is a
Right.
very, very frustrating answer. And so from what I think about Catalyt, I think about there's this platform where people can go to, and there's a community where you can share ideas and ask questions and learn. So even if you feel fairly savvy, it's a way to stay current in a kind of a one-stop shop. Is that about right?
It is, and the way I like to talk about it is larger agents and brokers have people whose full-time job is to keep up with technology. They're called chief information officers or chief technology officers or technology architects. And the smaller agencies don't have the resources, the time to do that. So Catalyt is becoming a fractional CIO for every agency that becomes a part of the platform, where we become that strategic thinker, keeping you up to date on what's new, what's coming, and maybe most importantly, how to maximize the technology investments that you make as you go forward.
Great. So Catalyt launched back in October, I
March.
think, is March.
Well,
Well,
the
yeah,
company launched in
yes.
March, and then we made the platform available in October, mid-October, to subscribers. Yes.
Yeah, I should have been paying better attention because we should have launched it. Missed my birthday, I think, by one day, and that should have been set up there. We should have thought through that a little bit better. Can you talk a little bit about the process in getting ready for launch because we had agents across the country that we called beta users that really worked on the experience, provided feedback. And can you talk a little bit about what that looked like and what did you guys learn and what were you changing along the way as a result?
So as we were building the platform, and I certainly had ideas, my team had ideas on what would resonate or what would help agents, but we wanted and needed the feedback from agents themselves. And so we did. We picked beta users from each of the 7 partner states, ended up having about 50 agencies, and as we were building the site, making it live, we would get their feedback on what they liked, what they didn't like, and we certainly made some changes and some pivots in terms of what ended up being the platform that we launched with. So that actually ended up being longer than we expected because we were getting great feedback, and as we were building the platform, that became very, very helpful for us. And so it's the platform that you see now is a result of agent peers helping us develop what they felt was the most helpful aspects to them as they were going through their technology journey.
Good. And in keeping in line with that and staying in touch with users, I think right now you're working on building an agent advisory council or an industry advisory council. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it really is the extension of the beta idea, but a council that we are putting together of agents and other industry experts, really, to continue to inform us in terms of what else should we look at to develop, what do we need to improve, and we know there are things in the platform now that we launched with, but we already have plans on improving the experience. And our whole focus at Catalyit is what's best for you, the agent. And so even as we look at developing and bringing things on, it's focused on the best and frictionless user experience that we can do. That is a continual process, but this agents council will continue to give us that feedback and guidance. And frankly, with things continuing to change as rapidly as they are, more eyes and ears out in the industry telling us about, hey, there's this new vendor I came across that has something interesting, and I want to know about that. And I want to bring that to the platform so that we bring that to our subscribers so they can keep up to date on the latest stuff that's out there.
Yeah, great. And I know for me, it's been helpful even at the association because we have people reach out to us all the time who say, we'd love to introduce this technology to agents and so forth. And none of us really, I'm lucky enough to have a couple of experts like Angela Ford and so forth that are on my team, but having the extension of having you, the idea that you kind of said you're a CIO for agencies and firms out there, knowing that we can go to somebody who can quickly distill what we're hearing about, what we're seeing. Is it worth the time and effort to look at it? Is it something that's too early in its infancy to be jumping into? Because we could spend all day, every day, looking at every new tech thing that's happening. I don't know what numbers there are in the billions of what's being spent in insurtech, but it could be a full-time job easily.
Correct, and really having us having a vetting process. And what's interesting to me is, as I've been talking with solution providers, our name for what we call vendors, as I talk to solution providers, they really like this idea because they get frustrated, with going to states and the states not having the expertise to understand what they're doing. Where they come to us, we can filter that through and then introduce them to a wider platform of independent agents. So it's better for the agents, it's better for the solution providers also.
Great. So let's get introduced a little bit to Catalyit. I'd love for you, I know you've got the website up. There's a couple things I'd like you to talk to us about. There's some that's just general resource, right? That anybody can be on it, learning, engaging, attending certain things that's part of being available and helping us all get smarter, so to speak. And then there's also a subscription model, which then helps you get a deeper, more custom interaction and so forth. So I'll let you kind of walk through and introduce us to the site. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you can pull up the site yourself while Steve is doing this and take a look at it. And and then what I'd like you to do is talk about the journey of once you go from perusing it to saying, I'd like to jump in, what is that process and what do we get out of it that makes it worth hooking in right out the gate?
Sure. So there are two subscription levels. One is what we call a starter subscription, which is available to every member of a state association that has partnered with Catalit. And that provides really some basic, there's no cost to it. It's part of your membership of your state association. It provides a weekly newsletter called Tech Tips that we send out. That's one idea, one thought, one process, one tip that we think can help an agency. So that goes out every Tuesday. It also provides some initial information on the technology, and that probably the biggest benefit to the starter subscription is it now provides access to our tech assessment. This is a tool that we've put together to help you and us at Catalit understand where your particular agency is in their use of technology. And it's scored and categorized, and once you complete that assessment, you will receive a report that lets you know where your strong suits are and maybe where you're weaker in various aspects of agency operations. And then we have the full access subscription, and that's what I'm looking at here. In fact, if you look at this top right where you see log out, this is what we call the logged in experience. And there are really four aspects to it, and somehow this keeps pausing. Hang on a second. I keep hitting something. So tools, and I'll talk about that in a second. Second area is guides and reviews, our knowledge hub, and then our community. So under tools, I already talked about the assessment. I won't go ahead and click there, but just a link. You start the assessment, a series of questions, takes probably 15 minutes or so to complete. And again, a PDF report is emailed to you with the results of that assessment. But that really is the start of what we call the Catalit success journey. And hang on.
It's always fun when you're not at your own setup at your own house.
No, and I'm used to dual monitors and all this kind of stuff, but I'll make it work. We'll figure this out. So the Catalit success journey, and actually I'm going to scroll down here just to show this graphic. Make sure I'm not paused.
There you go.
There it is. So there's a lot of information on the site and available, and the success journey is really a way for you to know what to do next. So we have 4 milestones on this journey. On the left-hand side, you see baseline. Baseline is what do you need, what's the minimum you need in an agency with technology to be functioning properly. And whether you're a brand new agency or you've been around for 10, 15, or 20 years, that's a place to start. Do you have everything that you need? Do you have a strong foundation in your technology? And a lot of agencies, in fact, I would probably say most, do pretty well here, but they may be a couple of items that you need to fill in just to make sure it's complete. And then we move to better, and I'll show you kind of a list here in a second. In fact, let me do that now. So you see the journey here. Better is building stronger structures, but what we've done here is, here you can see, in essence, a checklist of items. So what's included in baseline in terms of technology? What's included as you get better in your use of technology in your agency? And then what do you need to do to be among the best? And that's certainly alluding to best practices, top 25% of agencies. Again, what are the items there? And one of the enhancements we're working on right now is every one of these literally being a checklist item that you can check off as you complete it and understand where you are. Because my goal is for you to be able to come back every 6 months, every year, redo the assessment, and track your progress in terms of your technology journey. And then on the far right-hand side is beyond. And that's a thought that I've had for quite a while, which is the idea of what are agencies doing today that are going to become best practices. And there, again, you can see some items there in our checklist. And again, Catalit will use this as a way for you to get the information you need to be able to check off these items as you have implemented them within your organization. So that's tools, and we do also have consulting available, either telephone or one-on-one, for those agencies that want, more specific help on a particular project that they don't want to do it more themselves, but they want help. The guides and reviews is the second major area, and that's really kind of the guts. And again, Marit, I'm trying not to go into too great detail here because I get excited about it, but the guides and reviews, you can see here a list. These are what we call technology categories. And these categories group solution providers of similar kinds. So the easy one is agency management systems. So I'll click on that so you can get an idea of what's here. We always have a video, that's what you're seeing here, and that video will continue to play as you're scrolling. Let me make sure, here we go. So the guides and reviews are similarly constructed. High-level overview of this particular, in this case, management systems. What to consider, kind of 3, 4, or 5 things for you to consider as you're looking at agency management systems as a technology. And then the players. And so in this case, we have created a grid of the various agency management system vendors. Those are across the top. And down under the features column on the left-hand side are all the different kinds of features that may be included in an agency management system. And our grid, you can see the green is that particular vendor has that particular feature available in their system. And we've done that. There's a green for yes, they have it. There's a yellow for some form of it, but maybe not fully completed. And blank means no, they don't have it available. And then you can click on any one of these vendors or solution providers and then go to see if it pulls up.
While it's doing that, I just want to make a comment that I think one of the things that I like so much about this website is we've designed it to be very simple to use from a perspective of trying to take stuff that is so complicated and distill it to a palatable standpoint. So looking at a grid like that, I know that there's agencies out there that have spent months basically trying to create that type of thing, doing their own type of research. And so just thinking about how much quicker you can make decisions by being able to go to an expertise that says, here's we've done the evaluation for you, and if you're trying to check it off, it helps you drill down to maybe the best 2 or 3 options instead of having to start with that wide net and spend months and months of analysis, because we're trying to create a simple solution and decision making for our agents.
Yeah, and I would say one of the most common comments from our beta users was how much time it saves them, or I wish I had this last year, or right. So we start with the grid, broader overview, and then in this case, Hawksoft, we have what we call quick stats. So you can get, again, we've done a lot of the research for you, and this is coming from the vendor themselves, providing this information. And then we have a even more detailed, if you want, Q&A. So again, as I'm scrolling, well, you're not quite seeing it yet, but as I'm scrolling, a very detailed agency management systems have the most detail. Oh, I think this keeps pausing. Hang on a second. See if I can show. There you go.
Yep.
So here is the almost excruciating detail of questions that we've asked vendors to provide us their answer. And that detail becomes really helpful if you're doing a deep dive into Hawksoft or Vertafore or Applied or Xanatech or any of the 20-ish agency management system platforms that you might be considering, either if you're new, starting off with something new, or you're considering changing your system. So that's an overview of the guides and reviews. And then the other area here is reviews. Now, we don't have any reviews yet on Hawksoft, but you will have the ability to go in, and you can see here, create your own review and be able literally to add your review. I mean, think about it as an Amazon review. Or almost any other site that you go to now has user reviews. So you can leave those reviews, and we will be encouraging you to do that because it helps other agents, your peers, if they're looking at this vendor, this solution provider, getting information real time and real information from users themselves, not just the marketing stuff from the solution provider. And again,
Steve,
we
my
have different.
favorite part of that is the little checkbox at the bottom that says check this box to confirm if you're human.
Yeah.
There are some people that I would argue can't actually click
Can't
that.
actually check
To be
that,
honest.
but yes. And again, as over time we build these reviews, that will become a important component of the research you're able to do. And again, we'll have training on how to leave a good review, because it's not just a complaint about something you don't like, but it's what's good, what's bad, how are they responsive, are they not, etc. So that is a deceptively simple thing that will become extremely powerful as it's built out on the platform.
Great.
So those are
And
guides and reviews.
yeah, and just as a comment on that, obviously this website, this platform, this community that we're designing, the more folks are engaged, the richer it becomes, right? And it
Exactly.
really is going to require, when we talk to agents about engaging, it's not just about showing up to watch, right? It's about actually participating, asking questions, providing feedback, like reviews and so forth, telling us what's missing. So over time, it continues to become a better and better resource that people can really count on. You know, one of the things we've talked about is that we want it to be addictive to a certain degree. Like, I've got to go there
Right.
first before I make decisions. It's easy to use, and if I don't have an answer, I can at least communicate with somebody who can get back with me. And so just for a second, while you get into the next layer, the question might be from folks is, how is this different from ACT, which is Agency Council for Technology at IIABA, which a lot of folks use, right, as a
Absolutely.
resource?
Absolutely.
Um,
And it's a great resource. And I literally was the first agency representative when ACT was formed in the late 90s. And so I've been involved with ACT ever since. And ACT does a great job of high-level overview and great resources in a whole bunch of different areas. But by its very nature, ACT is Switzerland and Catalit is not. So we will have what we call Catalit team reviews, and we will give you our opinion, pros and cons, or what to look at for this particular product or this particular service. And there is nothing out in the industry available to agents like this review platform. So you'll be able to literally see, exactly what other users are thinking and doing. So
Great, good.
um,
Thank you. And we support ACT and participate there as well. This actually will give you the recommendations as opposed to a general resource. Like, to your point,
correct. ACT
it's
doesn't give
agnostic.
particular, yeah,
Yeah,
ACT doesn't
good.
give particular recommendations. We will. And I
Yes, good.
think that's one of the main distinctives. And we will continue to be part of ACT and working with ACT as they do their job out in the industry.
Great.
So Knowledge Hub is really two aspects. One is insight. So articles, I already mentioned, are terms and our newsletter tech tips are just information that's available to you as you need. And then our training, and we've got Catalit
Can you
Live.
try and hover over Knowledge Hub? I don't know that we're seeing that yet. We're still
You know what?
seeing.
I think, yeah, the sharing kit's paused for me. Sorry about
That's all
that.
right.
See if that's better.
There you go. Thank you. Yep, that works.
And it's now paused. Okay, let me try this
Mm-hmm.
again. So here's the insights. Again, blog, tech terms, and our weekly newsletter. And then our training. So our Catalit Live is, we'll talk about that in a second. We also have on-demand courses. So we have a whole course on how to select the best agency management system for your agency. We also have a course on how to implement that system in your agency. That's not something that typically agents spend much time on. And a bunch of other stuff that's coming here pretty quickly. And then our on-demand vault, meaning for our Catalit Live sessions, let me go make sure I got here. All right, so Catalit Live, and really we've got 3 opportunities for subscribers to interact with us every month. First on the left is a hot topic, and I just did one Tuesday this week on 5 processes to improve productivity in your agency. So that's typically a training topic that's of interest, either I think should be of interest or subscribers has told us they'd like to hear more about this. That's once a month, and all of these are on Tuesday. We kind of call it Catalit Tuesday. The second opportunity is what we call an open Q&A, mastermind call, group coaching, a couple of different names for it. Literally is a time when I and my team get online with you. You can come on, ask us a question, and we will brainstorm with you. We will talk about what we know about that topic and how to help you. And if we don't know, we will research it and get back to you. So it is your opportunity to ask your questions. What's the biggest problem you're having in your agency? This isn't working right. Or do you know of a solution provider that can do this? So that's a great opportunity for you to ask your questions and get some answers from really curated experts that know agency technology. And then the third opportunity is for our solution providers, what we call Demo Lounge. So 15 to 30 minutes once a month of a demo of their product. And the purpose of that is, again, to help you take a deeper dive into a particular product so you can look at it without kind of the sales pressure of doing a demo. Now, we encourage you to do that. If you go to the demo lounge, you like what you see, then you should contact the solution provider and go deeper. And all of these are recorded and put into our vault. So if you can't attend live, you can certainly consume that information on your own schedule.
Yeah, and it looks like it's always Tuesdays at 11 Eastern. So, you know,
Correct.
what I always say in our lives is put that on as a repeatable appointment on your calendar so you know that that's something that you can count on every week. If you can't attend, you can follow up with it. But it's sometimes if it's not on our calendars, we don't remember that that's there,
Yep.
even though you might register. So I always encourage people to make that a time, carve it out, and then you see it every week and are reminded to go back and get involved in that. Great. And I think then the last area is the community, right?
It is, correct.
Yeah.
So the community, again, is another way for you to interact with the other subscribers, your peers, and with the Catalyit team. And so we've created, literally think of it as a Facebook group, but not on Facebook. And different areas right now, we have the areas grouped around categories or types of technology. You can see here phone systems or social media or marketing automation or productivity, outsourcing. And we will build out those kind of groupings based on questions that we get from subscribers. And again, we will answer that. I call it a curated community, so we're monitoring that and posting questions and providing answers. but also maybe more important is, again, as we build this community, other agents giving their feedback on a topic, or here's what I tried that worked or didn't work. So again, we're working hard at building that community so our subscribers have a place to go to get the answers they need to really better take care of their customers.
Great. So I think for folks to get involved, going to catalit.com, perusing that, and then you can actually log in or create an account. I think there's probably a link that's obvious, join, something like that. I would highly
Correct.
recommend that you get on there. And the way that it works is if you subscribe, then everyone in your agency can be part of it. So you
Yeah,
don't have to
that's
have a subscription per agent, right? So it's actually by agent.
correct. Yeah, again, that was a decision we made early on that the full access subscription, if you're a member of one of our participating states, is $97 a month per agency. So it's not per location, it's not per person, it's per agency. And you can add on the platform other people in your agency that want to have access to this information. And as well as our starter subscription is available to anyone. And as we work and roll out a particular state, invitations are sent out for you to create an account and be able to access the information. And again, the real benefit of that starter subscription is the assessment that will give you an idea of where you currently are in your journey of technology excellence.
Great. So as we wrap up, and then I'll just hit some highlights here as we grab this. When you think about Catalyt, what's your favorite feature? What are you enjoying the most about it?
I think the most useful feature is the guides and reviews. I think I'm going to separate these a little bit. I think the favorite feature that we are building, and actually we're building an audience, is that open Q&A, that open coaching call. And I think as agents get used to this idea that they can come and have a place to go and ask their questions and get answers that are I'm struggling for the right way I want to phrase it, that aren't just another agent complaining about what they didn't like, but are curated and come from a knowledge of agency technology deep. I mean, the people on my team have literally 20 and 25 and 30 years of experience working with agency technology. They know a lot and can help our subscribers a lot and save them time, but money. I mean, I think one of the biggest things that hurts me is hearing agents that have made a decision and it failed, and the money spent, the time wasted, the stress on their staff when there could have been a better or easier way to go to make a
Yep.
better decision.
Yep. Good. Well, I thank you so much for being here today and joining us and introducing this. As I mentioned, Steve will be at Joe Vincent in person. He'll be at our board meetings. He'll be on the floor at the InsurTech Lab, so you can pick his brain. But I think you make a great point when you say this isn't just about saving money. It's really about saving time and being able to jump into decisions that usually take so much more time than normal. So thank you so much, Steve, for your time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
and I'm excited to see you in a couple weeks. You should
I
just stay in
know.
Texas and not go back to Nashville. You're only a couple hours away.
I know it.
I did want to take a minute to introduce a new program that we're starting that folks can join. It's going to be a monthly lunch and learn. It's really for agency managers to jump in. The first program is next week, and it's going to be navigating the certificate dilemma. So Kim Hudson and Angela Ford will be running this program throughout the year. It does include CE, but it's really kind of the tactical stuff that managers should know how to use and help their staff with. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and join. the program as far as that goes. And then we do have a CE day next week in San Antonio and Austin, so please check out our education page for that. And with that, we just remind you to join us for Mornings with Marit's Facebook page. And Steve, thank you very much for being part of our Mornings with Marit. Next month, we're going to actually do a Expand Yourself for 2022 goal setting for yourself personally and some great books to kick the year off. And with that, have a great day. It's a pleasure spending my morning with you.